Hey internet, good morning, welcome back. This is Sierra, although it's actually 12:30, so it's not morning anymore. Anyway, if you are new around here, my name is Sierra and I'm an American who lives in Japan. Every week I try to make a new video about my life here and how we live a little bit more sustainably. Anyway, we're filming in my bathroom today because we're going to be filming a video that I've never really tried filming before. I'm a little bit nervous to film. But again, actually that's a lie because I filmed a video similar to this. I'll put it up in the cards if you guys want to check it out. But today I'm going to be filming my first ever official beauty tutorial video. And I haven't really made these before because I wouldn't exactly consider myself an expert on makeup. But I know how to make myself look a little bit more alive and more human than I did when I first woke up in the morning. So at least I must know something. Anyway, the reason I decided to make this video is because I was chatting with a friend of mine who recently turned 30 and has suddenly taken an interest in makeup. And she asked if I could film a little video for her to show her how I do my makeup because she really likes the way that I do my eyes. And I figured, you know what? Why not make it a YouTube video for the entire world to see, because why not? This is the internet. So friend who asked for this video, hey there girl, I hope that you enjoy this video and anyone else who is watching learns a little bit about makeup from someone who really doesn't know that much about makeup. But anyways, let's get started and move back in time to how I looked before I put all this stuff on my face. So yeah, let's put on some makeup. When I do my makeup, I always like to do my eyes first before I do any of my other face makeup, because sometimes when I do my eye makeup I have weird fallout and then I end up having to wipe off my concealer anyway. So I always do my eye makeup first and then do my concealer and all my other face makeup. So I'm gonna do that the same way today because your girl does not have time to waste because life is short. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're going to prime our eyelids. And there's debate about whether or not this is necessary, but when I first got into makeup, the lady at Sephora convinced me that I needed this, and it is, I can't even read the label anymore, but it's, I think, Ciate brand eye makeup primer, and you just put a little bit on your lids and basically it just makes your makeup stick to it. So I put about this much on my finger and rub it in between my two ring fingers because it's your weakest finger. I'm going to apply this all over my eyelid. So now that we have our primer on, we're going to move on to our eyeshadow. I'm going to be using this Tartelette palette that I've had for about 5 years. Since I have no idea what I'm going to wear today, I think I'm just going to go with one of my traditional go-to type looks that I usually do. I'm just going to use all the colors along the bottom of the palette. So we're going to start out with Super Mom, and we're just going to apply this all over our eyelid. I'm going to kind of rub it around here, tap it off into the sink, and then apply it all over my eyelid. Okay, I think we're done. So this, as you can see, you can't really see it on camera, but it's very subtle because again, I'm going for a natural look. If you want a more dramatic look, just put more makeup on. And the one thing to know about a lot of eyeshadows is that depending on the brand, the pigments may or may not be as strong as other brands. So what I like to do is I like to put a very light amount of whatever color it is I'm putting on first and then always add more. It's a lot easier to build up makeup than it is to kind of use makeup remover and try to tone it down a little bit. So now we're going to move on to the crease, which is the crease of your eyelid, which is right here. And I'm going to use Wanderer, which is this kind of light brown color. And I'm going to use just, again, a fluffy brush. I'm going to tap probably 2 or 3 times into here. And I'm going to smear that right in the crease of my eyelids. Alright, so it's hard to see on camera again, but when you look from further away, there's definitely a difference between the two. And once again, I'm not going to put a ton on just because today's look is going to be kind of just like an everyday natural type makeup look. So okay, now that that is done, let's move into the outer corner of our eyes. Depending on what day it is and what kind of look I'm going for, if I'm going for a more dramatic look, I usually use a bigger brush, sometimes the same fluffy brush. But now I'm going to actually switch brushes since I'm doing a kind of more subtle look. And I'm going to be using one of 2 brushes. Either I use my Anastasia number 3 brush. I think this is actually an eyeliner brush, but I like to use it for eyeshadow because it's a really fine line. And if I'm looking for a little more dramatic look, or if you don't have a little tiny brush at home, you can use a tiny blending brush or even a crease brush that's been compressed. I just kind of push on it like that and then kind of use it that way. Either way, you're going to get kind of the same effect. So now I think I'm going to use this brush only because I think it gives me a little bit more control on where this is going to go. Okay, I'm going to move into the next color in my palette, which is Power Player. And I'm going to put this on the outside corner of my eye. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of create sort of like a V shape like this and then blend it. And I'll show you guys how I do that. So first, okay, I don't know if you guys can see the fallout right there, but that's the reason I always do my eye makeup first and then do my concealer afterwards. as you guys can see, I kind of have like a little V shape right there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and then I'm going to use the blending brush that I was using at first to kind of blend it out all together. Alright guys, sorry about that. I knew that was going to happen eventually. I hope the angle is relatively the same. I don't know. But anyways, now we're going to go into the blending portion. And we're just going to pick up the brush we were using before. And we're going to kind of take the brush and we're going to blend in little circles in the same place, but also outward a little bit. So I'm going to take the brush and just blend in little circles. So now as you guys can see, this is pretty well blended. And you can see the big difference between this side and this side. And then once I get this kind of blended out the way that I like it, I kind of blend it a little bit back and forth into the crease slash lid, just to kind of get like the overall blended look. The look that you're not going for and the look that's not cute is the really harsh lines that you get when you do a layered look. So there we go. We are all set with that one. For now, I'm pretty happy with this, with the way it looks right now. But if you're not happy with the way that it looks and you want it to be a little bit more dramatic, what I would recommend doing is kind of dipping your brush into your two colors. So both your outer corner color and your crease color, and kind of blending that into the crease and then blending it down. You know what? For video's sake, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to go twice into the lighter color and once into the darker color. Tap it off into the sink, and then I'm going to kind of blend that into this point and also into the crease slash a little bit down. So if I go like this, and there we go. That's what it looks like. So now I'm going to switch and I'm going to go to the other side. Okay, I think we're pretty well blended now, and I'm happy with it. But because I used the two colors on this side, I'm going to do the same thing on this side of my eyes. Alright, you guys, how are we looking? We're looking okay? One more thing I wanted to add about eye makeup: if you finish your eye makeup look and you're not happy with it, maybe you think it's a little bit too dark, one little trick that I like to use once in a while is I like to take my original color, which in this case it's Super Mom, take one dip into it, not tap it off, and then kind of apply this color over the entire thing. It's not going to cover what you've done before, but it's going to kind of make it a little bit more subtle. So let's do that. Okay, so now I think that we're done with the eyeshadow, and at this point, if it were a regular day, I would just kind of move on with my life, but today is special. Today is going to be our base's 4th of July celebration, and so I want to do a little something extra, and so I'm going to take some highlighter, not the kind for paper, like the kind that you use for your face. They do make eyeshadows that you can use for this, but I like to use just like the regular highlighter that I use for my face. I'm going to take my cleaned off eyeliner brush. I just kind of brushed it on a piece of toilet paper, put a couple swipes of highlighter on it, and then just apply this to the very tiny inner corner. And it's going to be really hard to see on camera, but I'm going to zoom in as much as I can when I edit so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so now we are done and we are ready for eyeliner and mascara. But before I do that, I like to do a little bit of cheating, and I like to take some makeup remover and a Q-tip and kind of clean up the outer corner, just so that it kind of looks the same on each side. Because sometimes when you're blending, it can get a little bit crazy on the corners. So I just dip the Q-tip into the makeup remover enough so it gets a little bit moist, and then I just kind of use that to clean up the corner. And if you have any fallout down here, you can also use the Q-tip to clean that out. There we go. How's that? I think we're all set. And then once that's done, I like to take the dry side and kind of dry off any residual makeup remover that's on here with the dry side of the Q-tip. Okay, now it's time to move on to eyeliner and mascara, but I always do those last after I do all of my face makeup, because when you're doing face powders and stuff, they can stick to your eyeliner and or your mascara and they can look not so great. So let's do face makeup. For the last year or so, I've been using the Supergoop Unstained Sunscreen SPF 40 primer. I'm going to use about that much. I'm going to apply this pretty much everywhere all over my face. Now I'm going to move on to concealer. Concealer I'm going to be using today is the Tarte Shape Tape. I don't know if it really matters which one you use, but I really like this one because I really like how thick it is, and it seems to work really well at covering my under eye circles. So let's put some of this on. So one thing that you might notice is I actually don't go all the way up underneath my eyelashes, and the reason I don't do that is because I find that sometimes it can collect right below my eyelid and kind of give me like a fake wrinkle, so I don't do that. And then whatever makeup I have left on my brush, I just kind of put wherever on my face needs it. I have a scar from when I fell on ice when I was a kid up here that I always like to cover a little bit of concealer, and then pretty much anywhere that you have spots or scars. I think I have a scar right here from, I don't remember what it was, but it's a scar. And then I like to take my brush and kind of spread my concealer that I have here down a little bit, just because I find like it kind of gives it sort of a softer line. Okay, it's not perfectly even, but that doesn't necessarily matter because we're going to blend it now. I'm going to use a beauty blender. You can use your fingers or whatever, but over the years I found that a beauty blender is what really works best for me. I'm using the official beauty blender brand yellow one. I think it's called the Joy. If that's wrong, I'll correct myself in the bottom. But now we're just going to take that and we're going to bounce and kind of blend it out. Okay, that's all done. Now we're going to use a translucent powder to set our concealer underneath our eyes. And I just kind of put it liberally underneath here. Don't worry about putting too much under here, because when you go later with your overall powder on the big brush, you can kind of brush any extra away. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our overall setting powder onto our face. I just like to use a big fluffy brush, and I just kind of put it into my powder and put it all over my entire face. So there we go. Tap, and then just brush it on. Okay, and this is why I said here not to worry about putting too much translucent powder up by your eyes, because you're going to brush some of it off anyway with the big fluffy brush. Okay, we're all done with our powder. Now what I like to do, again, don't know if this is recommended, is I like to take my concealer setting brush again and take a little bit of my powder, which is a little bit darker than the setting color that I used, and kind of apply that right here just to kind of further hide any dark circles that I have. Not a lot, just a little bit. See, again, I didn't go all the way underneath, I just kind of did it right here in that spot where a lot of the light catches, and that's all set. That is all done. Now we're going to move into the part that you actually really want to see, and that is the eyeliner application. Over the years, I've kind of experimented with both a lot of eyeliner pencils and liquid eyeliners. To be honest, liquid eyeliner seems to work the best for me because I feel like it's a little bit easier to apply, and when it comes to making a mistake, it's a little bit easier for me to kind of go back and correct. Unfortunately, this one is almost out, so we're going to do the best that we can with this one on camera today, and if it ends up running out on me, I'm going to switch to the pen. When it comes time to put on your liquid eyeliner, make sure that you are relaxed, because if you have eye makeup on, this is kind of the point of no return. So take your time, relax, put it on slowly. If you mess it up, just make that line a little bit thicker. Okay, after way too much time spent on eyeliner, I think we are all set. And at this point, we would put on our mascara. One thing to note about mascara wands, I have a couple of different mascaras here, so I'm going to open them both up. It's probably not a very good idea, but I'm going to do it anyway and show you the wands because I want you to see kind of the difference. So I like to use a brand that has a brush that looks kind of like this. And then other mascaras are the fluffy type wand that's made out of like a finer plastic. I tend to prefer the ones that have the really like pokey plasticky type wand, just because I feel like it does a little bit better job of separating my lashes. So now I'm going to go in with my mascara. And then I like to go along the bottom just really gently, just enough to give the lashes a little bit of color. Okay, mascara coat number 1 is on. Now, a common mistake I wanted to mention when it comes to mascara that a lot of people make is that people, for some reason, when they put their mascara on, they just like to apply layer after layer after layer without giving it any drying time, and that is wrong, because what happens, you end up kind of with that goopy spider type look, which is not cute. So while my mascara is drying, I like to use that time to put on things like bronzer, blush, and highlighter, so I'm going to do that now. Bronzer, blush, and highlighter kind of as a bra for your face. So your bronzer is going to be the underwire, your blush is going to be the cup, and then the highlighter is going to be, I guess, the part of the flesh that you see above your bra. I know that sounds weird, but you'll see what I mean when I do this. So I'm going to put 2 swipes of bronzer onto my brush, shake it off, and then I'm going to put it right along my jawbone. It's kind of hard to see, everyone's face is different, but you can kind of go like this to kind of see where your natural jawbone is. I don't always do this when I put it on, but I'll do it for the video just for you. Yes, I know it looks a little bit dramatic, but like I said before, I'm going to blend it out on my face just like I did with my eyes. Alright, so now that I've given my mascara a minute to dry, I'm going to go in with a different kind of mascara, because I find that for some reason mixing the formula helps to build the mascaras up a little bit better. I don't know why it works, I just know that it does. And now while that dries, we're going to go in and we're going to put on our blush. Same thing, like I already said, now the blush is going to go right above the bronzer, or kind of touching the bronzer. It just kind of depends on your face, but I like to put it just above the bronzer. Now we're going to go back again with the other mascara that we used the first time and put on another coat of mascara. Notice how when I apply my extra coats, I only apply them to the top lashes, not the bottom lashes. Now while that third coat dries, I'm going to put on my highlighter. Your highlighter goes kind of like right here and right here. Some people put it on their cupid bones and on like the top of their hairline. I don't do that, I just put it right here. And yes, I am going out later and I'm going to be wearing a mask, but I'm putting all this makeup on just for you, friend, who's watching. So enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to put on my 4th and final coat of mascara. I know that it seems like a lot, but over the years I found that the only thing that really works to get your mascara to stay on and look good is to put a lot of it on. We are all done for the day. Okay, last step is blending, and then we're going to use our setting spray. When I do my blending on my face, I just use my powder brush and I wipe it off on a piece of paper. And then I just kind of use it to kind of blend out the harsh line that my bronzer leaves on my face. So kind of like this. We're not going to do the setting spray yet because I just realized I forgot to do my eyebrows. I only do my eyebrows once in a while, but what I do is I like to use a little pot of eyebrow makeup. This is Blonde by 100% Pure, and you have to buy this separately, but you can buy like a little spoolie type thing that comes with the brush at the store. A lot of brands have them, and actually a lot of companies that sell these little pots that actually comes with it. I just comb my eyebrows up, and then I use this part of the pot, dip into the pot. I would say, I know mine's kind of old and dried out like 6 or 7 times, and then just brush it into my eyebrows like you usually would any eyebrow pencil. As you guys can see, I don't do anything fancy with my eyebrows. I just like to put a little makeup on them to kind of make them look a little bit more pronounced. You can do all that fancy stuff with your eyebrows, but I don't know how to do that, and to be honest, I don't really care about learning. Okay, do my eye caterpillars look kind of the same? Close enough? I don't know. I feel like if you put too much effort into your eyebrows, people are going to know you put makeup on them and it's not going to look natural. So whatever, close enough. Okay, now we're going to go in with the most important thing for Japanese summer, and that is a really good makeup setting spray. Today we're using Cover FX's Mattifying setting spray, and to be completely honest, this is the only kind I've ever used because it's worked for me from the get-go. And the way we apply this is kind of the same way on our face as you would to your hair. I put one spray kind of above and then one on each side, and then I move on with my life. So first we're going to shake it up. We're going to put it on. Shake your face around, let it dry. Just so you guys know, you don't actually have to shake your face around like a dog. I just like to do it for some reason. I don't know, but Otherwise, I'm all set for my day. I'm gonna get dressed and probably put on some lipstick later. Since I'm gonna be around the house for a while, it seems stupid to put lipstick on now. But I need to prepare some lunch for my family and get some housework done before we go out for dinner with some friends. So I'll see you guys in a bit.